This is part 3 of my videos that will go over the classroom rules and procedures for AP European History. This information is going to first focus on the course requirements, what you're going to need to bring with you every single day to school or have at home if you're learning from home, as well as the expectations of the class, what the responsibilities of you as a student will be every single day. So lots of important information. It'll start with this video and then it'll continue on with probably 2 others. So let's take a look at the materials and supplies that you're going to need to be successful in this class. Remember, we have to prepare at any time to go back to a traditional learning model with everyone at school. So with that being in mind, I'm asking everyone to purchase a 1.5 or 2-inch 3-ring binder or some type of a large notebook with pockets. Of course, if you're using the binder, you need loose leaf paper because you will be filling up this binder or notebook with a lot of notes. More about that note taking here in a few minutes. You will use blue or black pen to take those notes. You can use a pencil if you'd like. Highlighters are of course optional. Those of you that have had my class know that one of the great things about studying is I take the mystery out of studying for you by reviewing the day before and making sure that you know exactly what the key points to study are, and we highlight those together when we go over them. So that's why I would recommend highlighters, but you don't have to have them. I've got some students who just like underline or circle some or star, some of the key parts of their notes. I'm asking for my hybrid students, my students that I will see in person every other day, if you will bring a box of Kleenex so that we will have enough on hand, because at some point we're all going to need a tissue. It's just going to happen. Allergy season's coming up pretty soon within the next month or 2, and this is going to be necessary. Also, in that notebook or binder, you'll need to divide it up into certain categories. Now later I will show you the actual syllabus and you will see what type of categories I'm talking about to help keep that notebook organized. When you are at home learning, and of course if you're a virtual only student, you have to have internet access and a device for online learning. They recommend a laptop or a desktop computer. A phone would be fine, but iPads don't tend to work well with Canvas. So I would try to avoid, if at all possible, using an iPad because there's going to be certain things that are not going to work properly for you. All right, when it comes to our textbook, you will not actually be issued a textbook to take home. For safety, actually for healthy reasons, for health reasons, I'm not going to physically issue a book. Your textbook will be put on Canvas, a PDF version of it. I'm not going to put the whole thing on at once. What I'll do is whatever chapter we're studying, it may be, a combined couple of chapters together, I will make sure those are published for you so that you can use the textbook when necessary. It'll be used as a reference. There are times where I'll assign readings out of it, other things for you to, get out of the textbook, but it will not dictate how the class operates. I do not go page by page and chapter by chapter in that book. It's mainly used as a reference, to help you better understand the material that we'll be covering every single unit. The heart of my class are the daily notes and discussions. Now, this is a college level class, so the majority of our routine will be note taking. There is no way around that. This class will prepare you for college when you have to sit in a history class for an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, if you have those classes, and you will be note taking. So what I do is I try to do it in a dialogue manner where I'm talking and then I give you opportunities to, comment and ask questions, and I will be asking you questions. So it'll be kind of like a back and forth type dialogue instead of me just talking nonstop. Now, of course, the days that you're learning from home and the all virtual days, there really won't be any interaction with me. If you have specific questions about what we're going over, you can ask them the next day when you see me, or if you're virtual only, if there's just some things you truly don't understand, you can email me if it's quick, or if it's more involved, you can schedule that Zoom meeting with me, and I'll talk more about those when I get to that later in this PowerPoint. But the way that we take notes is I give a skeletal outline, which means it's not a complete outline. There's a lot of missing parts to it. It's just a skeleton. It's a guide. And we together as a class will fill in that outline with a lot of information. So it's very important that you are attentive and you do pay attention to get all the crucial information down. I use a PowerPoint as a visual, to help with this material. And the good thing about the PowerPoints being posted on Canvas is if you miss something in class, you can go onto Canvas and watch it again or go to the parts that you've missed. That's the great thing about me posting these on Canvas this year. And that's, of course, because of my, virtual only. That's the only way that they can get the content. So, it's very important that when we're having these discussions, you do remember those class rules I went over, because they're going to come into play every single day when we have these discussions. We're not all talking at once. We're being respectful of one another's opinions. We're listening to each other, whether we agree or not. And we're going to conduct our class just like that pretty much every single day. Now, when we're not having those lecture notes, we will be doing some type of assignments. It may be a primary or secondary source that I assign you. There's a variety of things that I give as actual work that will be graded. Whatever it is that will be considered a assignment to be graded, it will be on Canvas, and you must make sure that you have your name, the period of the class, and the date that it is due on that paper. Okay, I've got a lot of students this year, and I need to make sure that those papers are properly labeled. So it's very important you don't forget to do this. It is, of course, expected on the date that it is due. Great thing about Canvas, you've got a calendar that's going to have all of your due dates that will help serve as reminders. So if I give something on a Wednesday and I tell you that it is due by Friday, by midnight, I expect to see it when I get up on Saturday morning. So I don't want to see it marked late. Okay, we'll talk about late work in a minute. If I assign something that's truly considered homework, I will let you know that it's homework, because that's only 10% of your grade. And again, it will be due, it could be due the very next day. I will set that deadline, and I want you to meet those deadlines, because I do not give a lot of written homework. I know you value your time as a student, and I want you to have that downtime in away from electronics when you can. So what I'm really asking you to do that might be quote unquote homework is to review your notes that we took. 10 or 20 minutes is all it takes. Just go back over it, and that will help prepare you for quizzes and tests. Just talk to those students that have had me before. They'll tell you that my class is not one that you can just wait until the last minute and start studying. It's too much information to try to cram in one night. You will get overwhelmed. You will get frustrated, especially when that grade comes back the way that you weren't expecting. So do not put this off. If you would just schedule a little bit of time each day to just look over the information we went over, it will build up over time, and I promise you, you will be saving yourself a lot of frustration when it comes to preparing for quizzes and tests. Speaking of quizzes, they will be given every single week. Of course, you're not going to have one this week, but more than likely next week sometime will be your first quiz. So it's important that you get all of the necessary information, such as the notes, or if I assign something for you to read. I always tell my students what to expect for a quiz. I don't make it a mystery. I don't do pop quizzes to try to trick you. You know exactly what to prepare for and study for when I do give a quiz. So no excuse, of really not being prepared. They are going to be different styles of questions on a quiz. I may do a couple of multiple choice questions, a lot of short answer type questions. That's usually what my quizzes are, short answer. Couple occasional, true false thrown in there. But again, it's a variety. They are usually anywhere between 10 or 20 questions. They will be timed, because if we were actually sitting in class taking these, you are given within a certain time frame, 15 to 20 minutes to take it, because we don't take all hour to do a quiz. So when you do open that quiz in Canvas, a timer will start and you have to take it within that time given, and whatever gets turned in gets graded, and that's the way it's going to work. So it is important that you are properly prepared for that quiz before you actually get into it and open it up. Also, make sure you understand that quizzes are really for me to get an idea of how much you are retaining and understanding and learning and mastering. So these quizzes are going to say a lot about your preparation for the material that we're covering. If you do very well, then I know that you are mastering the material. If you're not, then a couple of things could be going on. Either you're not preparing, or you're not understanding the material, you're completely confused, and that's when you need to communicate with me, and we need to find out how we can get these quizzes in the future to be a lot better. Now let's talk for a minute about quiz corrections, because in the past, when we were all actually in class, I've allowed for students to come before or after school and do quiz corrections for any quiz that they, fail, which is a 60, which is below a 60, because a 60, y'all know, is the lowest D that you can get. With the COVID protocol situation, I'm not real sure how I'm going to do this yet. So for now, I'm going to just skip over the whole quiz corrections. And whenever I figure out how I'm going to do that, I will go over that procedure with you. But if I do allow quiz corrections, you can see here, you will have an opportunity to earn back some of your points. It won't be all of them, but you will be able to earn back some of them. All right, when it comes to tests, tests are definitely longer than quizzes, and it's because they cover more information than quizzes. Quizzes usually cover maybe a couple of Roman numerals. Tests cover the entire unit chapter that we're studying. They're usually announced a week in advance. Again, I don't pop this on you. I take the mystery out of, well, what's going to be on your test? Every single review session that we have, and we review every day what we went over the day before. So you are highlighting that key information, and that is what you're focused on for quizzes and tests. So like I said, it shouldn't be a mystery as to what you're studying. I have a variety of style of questions on my big test. I'll have multiple choice type questions. I'll have the SAQs, which are short answer questions. Eventually, we'll be working our way up to a LEQ, which is a long essay, and a DBQ, a document-based question. So for those of y'all that have taken AP courses, you're familiar with these terms. And if you haven't, you will get used to them, because they're going to become very routine. Okay, so every test I give will have multiple choice and a writing portion. It's important you follow all instructions that are given when it comes to any assignment and any test, and you remember the academic honesty policy that is in place not only by the parish, as well as for my class specifically. I will be going over those policies in separate videos at a later time.